6:32.
6:32. Call to order at, call this meeting to order at 6:32.
Good to go.
All right. All right, well, so we're called to order. We need roll call. Since we don't have a clerk tonight, who's doing that?
I'm doing that.
Okay. Ms. Holt, if you could do roll call, please.
Right. Mrs. Denning?
Here.
Mr. Hairston? He did let me know he's running a few minutes behind, but do I have a,
Well, we'll move to excuse after.
Okay.
Sorry, yep, keep going down the list, yeah.
Mr. Owens?
Yes, I'm here.
Mr. Rogers?
Here.
Mr. Vasquez?
I'm here.
Do I have a motion to excuse Mr. Hairston?
I'll make a motion to excuse Mr. Hairston's late arrival.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh.
I think from here, it's your meeting. right?
Oh, I'm so
Or-
sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
No, I was.
Yeah.
We're rolling with it.
I
You
was-
didn't say nay. All
I'm
opposed.
so sorry, Madam Chair. You can tell I don't do this often.
I was just rolling. It was kind of, Harold got it.
Yeah.
We were just kind of giggling a little bit over that. We have a motion and a second to excuse Mr. Hairston. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. If Mr. Harrison shows up, we'll note the minutes as his arrival time, please. All right. Additions or corrections to the agenda at this time? Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Nope.
Staff have none.
All right, seeing none, we'll move on. Approval of agenda. Chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval of the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, we're going to move on to the fun stuff. Election of the chair and vice chair. So we will first open up nominations for chair.
I move to nominate Julie Denning as chair.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a nomination for Julie Denning for chair. Is there any other nominations at this time? At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to appoint Julie Denning as chair for the 2025 year.
So moved.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve Julie Denning as chair for the 2025 year. Roll call, please.
All right. Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mrs. Denning?
I abstain. Okay, well, thank you, guys. Moving on to a vice chair. And we will let you know that this year we're going to put some duties on vice chair, hopefully,
Yes.
if everybody approves the changes. So,
I can speak more to that if you would like.
yes, please do, so that everyone's aware of what we hope the focus will be for the coming year.
Yes.
Kind of changing things up a little bit.
So we've done this with the Board of Zoning Appeals as well. So the vice chair will be responsible for updating and maintaining the bylaws. This year, you will see that it is on your agenda, but the vice chair will be the keeper of the rules. So if you are elected to that position, you'll work with staff on updating the rules of procedure for the planning commission. So we'll be discussing that tonight, but that will be one of your duties.
So it'll be kind of like if there's a question regarding them and that, we kind of have a little bit more of an expert to turn to than all of us trying to remember
Yes.
what are in them or having to pull them up and that. So someone that just really digests them. Not that we all don't, and we read them and we go through them every year, but having someone that pretty much carries them with them at every
Right.
meeting is going to be vital, so.
We
Because we're going to have a
start-
lot of
yes.
stuff. A lot of stuff coming up this year that we're going to need to follow our bylaws for. So at this time, is that all you want to add to that?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Manager, anything you want to add to that? Okay. So at this time, the chair would entertain a nomination for vice chair. I'd like to nominate Tony Rogers.
Second.
I know the parliamentarian part of it.
Right, that's, okay, so is there any other nominations for vice chair? They're going to get me in trouble tonight. All right, at this time, the chair would entertain a motion for Tony Rogers to become vice chair of the Planning Commission for 2025.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second for Tony Rogers to be appointed to vice chair for the 2025 year. Roll call, please.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Denning?
Yes.
Let's see, Mr. Rogers?
Abstain.
Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
And let the minutes reflect that Mr. Harrison has arrived at 6:38. All right, so now we're moving on. Welcome, Tony. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Approval of minutes. You have a copy of your minutes in your packet. The chair would entertain a motion to approve either with amendments or as presented, whichever you prefer. Ooh, sharp.
I was just saying,
Woo!
the style quotient just went up
Woo,
on the dais.
man.
I love it.
Guess whose closet I got it?
No.
We're all gonna have to step our game up.
That's why I came with a pen. Y'all know I ain't got no pen. The pen was already.
I don't
on the
have
jacket.
one. I don't have one.
It's already on the jacket.
Okay, so if everyone's had a chance to look over the minutes, do we have a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the
December.
December 11th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting as presented. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Okay, now we're moving on, and Ms. Holt and I kind of had a conversation just prior to the meeting. We are moving on to our schedule for this coming year for our meetings. And according to our bylaws, the Planning Commission secretary is normally the clerk. And I know that it's kind of been, because of tonight's meeting being on a Wednesday, and it was presented for the filings on Wednesday, I just want to bring up one point, is that if we do have our meetings on Wednesday night, our clerk will not be at our meetings, because she is not available. So the discussion then is, do we stay with Wednesdays, or do we consider another night? And I know everybody has other commitments and that too, so I just wanted to throw that out so you know why we were just going to bring it up. Because what this will do is probably, even though she still does the minutes and stuff, most everything will be put back onto the Community Development Department, correct?
Yep, and Jim will be available, yeah, so it'll be, Jim and myself will be.
Yeah, so, I mean, we would have Jim with us for some of the procedural things and even parliamentary procedures. Tony's up to date on parliamentary procedures. I normally do okay with that. But I do believe that the clerk is a wealth of knowledge as well, especially with doing all of the minutes and that for the commissions and the council, of knowing what's already happened or what was requested and that that sort of thing, because she not only is at them, but she types them. So it's kind of muscle memory. So I just want to throw that out there. It's open for discussion. And whatever we feel as a commission is best for the commission and the commissioners, because we are all volunteer as well, is what we will roll with. But any discussion from?
But just for clarification, the clerk would still do the minutes. That wouldn't
Yes.
fall on him.
That's correct.
Okay. I was used to the Mondays after 25 years, but, Wednesday's the best for me. I could potentially do Thursdays, but Tuesdays are out for me.
Well, and Tuesdays are out for me, so, Wednesday or Thursday is fine with me. As Tony stated, just have been used to, for decades now, literally, being used to Monday night, so it might take a little bit to rearrange some schedules.
Well, and I should add too, maybe just as a point of conversation for folks, that the council calendar is currently first and third Mondays. So you do have the option for second and fourth Mondays of the month, if that still works for all of you, as in terms of setting a baseline. I believe the calendar that's in front of you is third Wednesdays? Is that
That's right,
correct?
yes.
Okay. So really, we, as staff, can make any day of the week work. The regular council meetings are first and third Mondays. The alternating Mondays are still open. So really, it's up to the body as far as what might work best for your schedule.
Well, Mr. Rogers has commitments on the
Second and fourth Mondays?
And I
Oh,
have
gotcha.
commitment on the fourth Monday.
Okay.
That's what, the other Mondays.
So that's the reason we could never reschedule our meetings for a Monday generally.
Okay.
So, and we know, and we put it out as Wednesday when we knew this was coming, because we know from prior surveys of commissioners, Wednesdays were the best. So if that's what's best, then that's what we'll roll with. Like I said, it's entirely up to everyone up here. We just wanted to throw that out and make sure everybody was aware that we would not have our clerk if we stuck with Wednesdays.
But we could, if it wasn't working or it was placing an undue burden, we could always reconsider a meeting date change later in the year.
Yes, according to the charter, and that it just says that it'll be set and it starts at 6:30. Meeting times, locations, and dates are subject to change. So,
You can do
So, yeah.
Wednesday one month and Thursday the next one.
Well, I will say what's been helpful since I've been here is having these filing deadlines, so I can let you know if we're actually having a meeting or if there is business. It's kind of helped create some order and let you know what's going on a month ahead of time.
Yeah, it's
don't-
nice when we're not going to have a meeting that we know
Yes.
several weeks in
Yes.
advance so that we can use that night for something
Yes.
else, so, yeah.
and are we still looking sort of that the?
Like, there won't be a March meeting.
There won't be?
There will not be
So
a
I don't
March
have to worry about bringing that up? Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
All
We have
right,
that
then.
information.
I'll delete that one right now.
And then I think we have our answer. That was my only concern there. So is the consensus that we are sticking with Wednesdays? Is that still a good evening for everybody? Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
So it's the March 19th, yes, for me.
Yep.
March 19th is the one that's canceled?
That's,
Yes.
yes.
And I will say, if we have a meeting in April, I might have to bring a birthday cake and force my husband here, because that's his birthday.
I seem to remember him waiting here
Yeah.
one
Yeah.
time
One time
for
for
his
dinner.
birthday. Yeah, for dinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We-
probably one where we
we-
had a couple of
Yeah.
cases.
Yeah. Okay, so do we have a motion on the floor to approve our 2025 meeting schedule
So moved,
as presented here by staff?
correct.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve our 2025 City of Riverside Planning Commission meeting and deadline schedule as presented by staff. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Mrs. Denning?
Yes.
Mr. Hairston?
Yes.
Mr. Vasquez?
Yes.
And you know, what's nice too is Ms. Holt has given us the deadline, so we should know by that deadline whether or not we have a need for an upcoming meeting, which is a lot better than what we've had prior to Ms. Holt putting this procedure into place, when we would get right up to
I'm sure
week of-
the Friday before.
People that are filing for these things, it's
Yeah.
nice for them to know.
Exactly. So, okay, so review rules of procedure. Is that just our
That
bylaws?
is your bylaws, yes.
Okay.
I mean, and if you guys can change things.
Yeah.
This is your,
Rules of procedure. I
Oh.
don't know.
I'm used to calling it bylaws. Okay, so this is just a review and kind of any discussion, if you did have a chance to look over them. But we want to definitely encourage everyone to start looking over and talk, and so that we can have a detailed conversation in the future, probably at our April meeting, if that's not getting too far into the year. But if we have anything that we know of tonight, we can kind of give it to Ms. Holt and Mr. Rogers to start kind of plugging that in. I think that came out as a Word, no, that did not. That came out as a PDF. So maybe Mr. Rogers can get that as a Word document so that he can make any changes in that.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yep.
So at this time, is there anything anyone has pointed out so far?
I feel like we kind of went over this when we had a retreat.
Yeah, did we go over our bylaws? I
you
don't
mentioned something, so what I
Yeah.
recall is looking at the attendance, looking
Yes.
at cleaning up, like you mentioned the secretary. There's some things that Katie and I both do, and getting some consistency
See
there.
Yes. And there was a couple things, like under the removal of members, it lists everything there but the absence. And I know that council had a kind of a new policy, for the lack of a better word, of if somebody is missing a lot of unexcused absences, or absences in general, from what I understood from the minutes I read, they may consider removal of that person. Is that, am I understanding the minutes from the council meeting way back when?
I know that they have made they've updated the council handbook, so I'm happy to share that with all of you, so we can make sure that our bylaws are consistent with
Yeah.
their direction.
I just don't want anyone to be surprised if something is said when they come up for renewal about absences. And I just want to make sure we're following whatever rules that
Yeah,
they're
section
expecting.
509 talks about the potential removal due to absences.
And under absences in section 510, it also
Yeah.
says
509D.
that,
And it's, yeah.
Actually, 510, I didn't see, it's 510D.
yeah.
Um, Oh, 510, I see. I didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I thought that's what was brought up, was three
Yeah.
regular
Regular
meetings.
meetings.
Okay.
So it's
I hadn't got that far. I couldn't open this at home, so, and I didn't have my packet.
Well, if you like, I could just do a review for edits and bring any suggestions back, and then
Yes.
if anybody thinks of anything in the meantime, they could email that to me, and I could bring that back for the April meeting then.
Yeah, and a couple of things we thought about is making sure our organizational meeting doesn't go any later than the February
Okay.
meeting.
For the election of officials.
Yeah, just so that the staff knows who they should be communicating with. And where is that one at? About special meetings. I just had it. Oh, under section 5.03, we thought this was a little, what was the word I used? About special meetings and, it says, special meetings shall be called by the chair. And then it says, it shall be the duty of the chair to call a special meeting when requested to do so by a majority of the members of the commission. However, according to sunshine law,
There's a conflict
if
there.
we talk about that outside of a public meeting on a special meeting, which that's what a special meeting would generally be, sometimes something coming up unexpected for a prospective new business or
Applicant, yeah.
something, we can't talk about that without having a meeting. Most of the time, what I see in bylaws is that the chair can call that meeting. You know, we normally would send out something like, here's a list of dates, you know, and do like a survey, but it's not a vote, it's just who's available on what days. So it was just something that we saw that maybe take that second sentence out.
I think this mirrors the charter in terms of, like, the council meetings, because Riverside and Huber's charters are very similar. And I know there in Huber, it's like the mayor can call a special meeting, or a majority of the members of the body can do it.
Well, and then
If we're here tonight-
or-
If we're here tonight, we could say, hey, we need a special meeting.
Yeah.
You know, next
Well, so
Tuesday.
So it allows either one to do it.
Right.
So maybe it should be an or,
Or,
because there isn't an
Shall be the
or in
duty.
there right now.
So
I think
probably
that's
the
where
language
the,
needs to be clarified.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just so, yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, I'm happy with that. I just didn't want
yeah.
a sunshine law conflict. That's all. So that's as far as I've gotten. I'll review some more too and send Tony anything I might.
Where's the part about the organizational meeting?
It's an annual meeting.
It's,
Annual meeting.
Oh, it's listed as the annual meeting. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So if anyone has anything else, just take some time and look over maybe before our next meeting, so then we can actually have kind of a draft maybe even.
Yeah, I'll just do a strike through.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any suggestions
And then we
beyond
can
what we
talk about those.
discussed, then I'll have it prepared, and
Okay.
I'll get it to you so you can put it in the packet.
Sounds
get the
awesome.
word doc?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Awesome. Okay.
And I have not received any slips for public comment.
Awesome, so no public comment tonight. And we have no cases for March, so we will not have a March meeting. Discussion of topics for staff. UDO rewrites Phase 2. Ms. Holt?
Yes, so we are in what our consultant calls the collaboration phase, if you recall from his presentation. And we are having our first steering committee meeting of that phase tomorrow. During that meeting, we are going to work with our steering committee to look at what our new zoning district boundaries could look like, and get their input on that. Then we're going to focus in on our commercial districts and areas. If you think about the Airway Woodman corridor or the Harshman Valley, that is going to be the first step, getting their input on that. This is really where we're diving into our code, seeing what can be kept, what can be really refined. But as you know, we've had some hurdles with our current code. So there's going to be sections that we need to, I'm just going to say, throw out. And, but there is sections we need to figure out with our steering committee, with our zoning districts. Do we keep them? Do we just revamp the names and change the actual language or the dimensions? So those are things that we're going to start working out with them. And then we'll have community meetings to workshop that with the wider community. So that's where we're at right now. So we'll keep you updated. Hopefully I'll give updates as we're moving through the process. So you're well aware, because you're going to be part of that body that votes on that. So we need to keep you updated.
It's going to be a busy year.
Yeah.
Any questions for Ms. Holt? Okay, and here's an exciting topic. It's Your City, It's Your World update, Ms. Holt.
Yes, yes. So we have one workshop under our belt. We started gosh, was that 2 weeks ago already?
Yeah.
Um,
Fiji.
Yeah, yes, at Beverly Gardens. And we took, I don't have an example in here, but we had some boards that had a map of Riverside that was designed by a wonderful Stebbins student. What we did was take these maps of Riverside and these little, what we're calling place stickers, and ask students what they wanted to see in Riverside, what places they wanted to see, thinking, okay, you want to see more parks here, or you want to see grocery stores here, and getting their ideas of what a future of Riverside could look like. We taught them also planning concepts like form and design and what zoning is, and then had them apply that to the map. So why are you putting housing here? Well, because that's closer to the street and we want people to be able to walk or get easily, or, you know, mom needs to be able to have a street to get to work easier, things like that. We had a student who put a factory next to a store so that the factory, if they ran out of, a store ran out of candy, they would be able to restock. So it makes sense. That's what zoning is. So it was really great to see. Had a really great response from the volunteers and the students. We're going to do it again this Friday at Stevenson. Is that, yes?
Yes.
Yes. maybe question that. And we're going to all 4 elementary schools. The last school is Brantwood on March 7th. So we're hoping to get a lot of feedback, and this will help inform some of the uses that we put in our land use table with the zoning code rewrite.
Do you want to share with the commission about how the Teachers Academy and what some of them, when you asked them what they thought about our city, or because I thought that was really an awesome comment.
Well, yes. So one of the volunteer groups that we have is the Teachers Academy from Stebbins. So they've been a great asset and a great group of young people helping other young people through this process. But to help with this, we went into their classrooms and did that exercise I just talked about and asked them, what do they love about their community? What do they love about Riverside? One of the things that they said is that they love that Riverside's a place where people help people, that there's a great volunteer corps here. And they said that they like the sidewalks that we have, which I thought was interesting. You know, as a planner, I love that. But hearing that we are a community that helps one another is something that really warmed my heart. But if you're one of those volunteers that they mentioned, come reach out. We want to talk to you. We want those volunteers here. But it was really nice to see that they're recognizing that we're a place where neighbors help neighbors.
I just thought that was really remarkable, and it goes to say a lot for our community. And we need to shout that from the rooftops, because not all communities have young people who would feel that way and feel that connected to their fellow neighbors and that. And I think it's been a long time and a lot of years since that feeling, you know, so it gives me great hope for the future. Okay, anything else, Ms. Holt?
I will just say one thing. We heard you, and we did make a planning commission budget for polos.
Yay.
What?
Polos.
Oh, cool.
So we will be going to the Miami Valley Planning Conference in style. So more incentive to go this year.
Awesome, thank you. Mr. City Manager, anything you'd like to say to us?
No, I just want to thank Naya and her staff for all of their hard work, particularly with the latest set of community outreach. You know, the It's Your City, It's Your World stuff these are ideas that have come out of staff, and they've really taken the initiative to go try to implement and build the bridge with the school district, the community, the kids, the teachers, and everybody. And I know I really appreciate it as well, for all the good work that reflects on the city and our organization. And a big thank you to you and all of the folks here who helped make that possible. So thank you.
And you know what was really neat was at the first training session, or I think only training session for the volunteers outside of the school district, the students, there was former alumni who don't necessarily live here anymore, but they were coming back to volunteer. There were neighboring communities that are kind of in awe that NIA was able to get this off the ground, and so they're coming and volunteering to be able to copy some of the ideas. And just some residents that, you just don't really see a lot, but they're coming out to do this. And I think that just shows where we're going. And I think that it's a testament to Naya and Josh for all that they've done to try to get this city out into the community and become more transparent, become more open, and involve people. I'm seeing a difference. And I have like a renewed hope for where we're going and the businesses we're coming that are trying to come to Riverside, that are at least willing to look at projects in Riverside, but let alone have, there was a lot of people here for that training, and then getting these students involved, that have the ambition to go into education somehow. It just helps them with their goals for the future. And that. So I'm really excited. I hope we can grow this. And I think there's a couple other classes you can get involved as we go further that are looking at like some political science stuff and finance and things like that might need some community service hours as well. So I think this is going to be huge, Naya. And I think that you're going to put Riverside on the map with all the other cities when it comes to planning and that, because this is going to grow. This is going to grow.
Thank you, but this isn't possible without the team. Like, I will say, Lori, Taryn, Gina, they have knocked it out of the park with all of their hard work with getting this off the ground, and so have all the planners from the local region. I can't, the much praise that I put on those students from the Teacher Academy, they are awesome. They are awesome.
They are a good group of kids. Well, thank you, and thank you to everybody who has made this possible, because it's going to be a great thing. It's going to be a great thing. Okay, matters by commission. Mr. Hairston?
None.
Mr. Owens?
None at this time.
Mr. Rogers?
Nothing this evening.
Mr. Vasquez?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
All right. Well, then, seeing that there's no more items before the commission, I say that this meeting is adjourned at 7:05.
Thank you. I'm way ahead of schedule now.
There you go.